So today I'm in Prince Edward Island and I'm going to visit West Point. And West Point is right down here. It's along the western shore down at the southern tip. And there's a fishing harbor there and a lighthouse and a beautiful beach. And today I'm going to take you along, show you the sights, and see what I can find for treasures. Here we are down at the harbor in West Point. There's a restaurant here which is well worth the stop, especially if you like some seafood, because the fishing boats go out from right there, and so you can get some pretty fresh fish. Tastes yummy. Hi there, fellow sea glass lovers. Thanks for joining me today. I have brought you down to West Point Lighthouse in West Point, Prince Edward Island, and I'm going to check it out. There's a lot that has gone on here. This sign, as you can see, is really run down. It's not looking like it used to. I've spent a lot of time here over the years and things have been changing. I gotta bring you along and show you what's been happening. So there is a place to eat in there, and you can actually come and rent rooms and stay in the lighthouse here. You always could for many years, and I just looked at the sign on the door and it does say it's reopening in June 2024, so hopefully we'll see a little bit more life here when things reopen. So I really wanted to come down here today to look at these reefs that have recently been built here. They built 5 of these in the winter of 2021 and 2022, and then they built the other 2 this past winter, 2024. And what they've done is they're trying to protect the erosion and the sea level rise, and storm surges have really ripped away at the beach here. This used to be a great big long, incredibly beautiful beach. And it's really changed over the years because of all the erosion. And it has met with some success. In September of 2022, Hurricane Fiona hit this shore, and the reefs really did protect from some of the erosion. There used to be a time when it was difficult to see the lighthouse from the beach because there was a great big sand dunes here and lots of marram grass and growth, and if you were down on the beach, you couldn't see the lighthouse. And now I'm standing down here right by the water, and the lighthouse is right there. So each of these reefs is made up of 2,000 tons of large rock. They are 45 meters long, 15 meters wide, and 3 meters high. And there's 7 of these along here. This is a really old lobster trap that has washed up onto the shore. So although there's quite a bit of sand on this beach, there's also these areas of gravel which can often be good places to find some sea glass. In fact, I see a green piece. That's awesome. And I found a few white pieces as well. So I'm finding a few pieces here today. Well worth the trip down to the beach. It's absolutely beautiful down here today, and there's nobody else down at this section of the beach. And I found this beautiful log. It's just stunning. What a great place to sit and look out over the water. And I found a few pieces of white sea glass, but oh, there's one. Oh no, I'm gonna get my feet wet. Look at that. That must have just washed in. That's a beautiful green piece of sea glass. I hardly ever find pieces like that. That's a stunner. It's a bottle bottom, what you call a kick up. So you can see how the trees have really taken a beating from the weather along here. There's a lot of dead trees, some that have been blown over by the winds. It is quite beautiful, but the trees used to be back quite a bit further. The beach has really shrunk. You can see in behind the trees there's a little summer cottage. I remember a few years ago during a really bad storm when there was a storm surge, there were even a couple of cottages that were carried right out into the Northumberland Strait. That's the body of water we're beside here. The weather can be pretty amazing. Check out this piece of driftwood that's been half buried in the sand. When the tides come along again, it'll probably unbury it and it will float away again. So there's a really nice piece of pottery. I like that one. So along this beach, there's some of these great big clam shells. I don't take very many of those home, but the odd time it's nice to have one just to sit on the shelf and display some of my favorite sea glass pieces. So I think I'll take one home today. There's a really nice aqua-colored piece. That's a good find. Not very well done, but I think I'll take it. It may get thrown back though. So we're down the beach a ways here, and I believe what I'm looking at is an old outhouse. You can see off in the distance there's a windmill. There's quite a few windmills around here because the winds along here are quite amazing. So in front of that old outhouse looks like a bit of remnants from a structure. So this might have been one of those places where there was a summer cottage that's been swept away by the weather. And you can see why a person would love to have a cottage along here. The beach is just spectacular. And the view across there on a cloudy, cool morning is stunning. And it's so peaceful. Now there's a pretty shell. It's got a whole bunch of purple on it. I may not be able to leave that one behind. I think it's going to have to come home with me. There's a really nice brown piece. Oh, I like that one. It's got a bit of a kick up on it too. And really smooth and nicely finished. So they've also added this fence to help with erosion. And it's little pieces of fence that will help trap the sand and reduce some of the sand being kind of pulled out into the water, which destroys the beach ultimately. And in behind there is Cedar Dunes Provincial Park. Beautiful place to camp. I've stayed there before and it's well worth the trip if you're a camper. So off there in the distance you can see West Point Harbor where the fishing boats come in and out. And there's a beach between here and there, and that's a beach that I used to teach swimming lessons at as a teenager. We wouldn't teach swimming right over here because you were getting a bit too close to the riptides. And here's Cedar Dunes Provincial Park. Beautiful place to camp. So this past winter they brought in 14 tons of sand to replenish the beach along here to try and protect this area for people to come and enjoy and be close to the water, because way too much sand has been brought out into the ocean. So there's those reefs, you can see them. It's so different from when I was a teenager with all those reefs here. From this vantage point, you can see all 7 of them. And according to the reports, they are working. When you get up close here, they're massive structures. And they're doing their job. So this rock wall has been installed here. It runs right along the area that used to hold a great big sand dune. There was a lot of sand here. When you were standing at the beach, you couldn't even see the lighthouse. And that's all been washed out into the sea. So now they've replaced this with this great big rock wall as a way to protect the lighthouse and protect the land mass along this area, which is good because climate change is real and the rising sea levels have been taken over this area of Prince Edward Island. So hopefully it can be preserved for generations to come. This purple shell is so beautiful, and I'm having some good luck today finding some other little pieces of purple shell that have been really well finished. These are called wampum shells, and I just love them. I have a little collection of them, and I love putting them in my art mosaics. So I have to say that this was a very successful day at the beach. I really enjoyed the walk. It was beautiful and peaceful, and I found some really cool treasures. Some amazing pieces of sea glass and some of those purple shells that are just stunning. And this piece, almost got my feet wet with it, but it was worth it. It's a stunner. So thanks so much for joining me for this video. I really hope you enjoyed coming along to West Point with me and enjoying the beach today. So until next time, I hope you make it out to the beach, and happy sea glass hunting.